Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. I'm going to share with you in this video a piece from XRPRippleNews.com. It's titled, XRP Price Never Changes, Let Us Explain Why. There's some stuff in this piece that I agree with and plenty that I don't, so I want to run through with you and do a little critical thought exercise. I thought that would be fun. I've also got a post from David Schwartz, who is Ripple CTO and co-creator of the XRP ledger. He's largely talking about Ripple's plan to go to market as of, and again, the post is from a couple years ago, I believe it was April of 2017. So I thought it would be fun to run through that, see what actually is lined up out of the things that he cited Ripple seeks to do back then. And then I'll close out the video with a piece not related to XRP, but I found interesting. It's from CoinDesk, and there is a crypto entrepreneur who is seeking to launch a crypto reality TV series. So, how about that? Before we get going, if you would please delicately tap that like button, and if you are a fan of Ripple and XRP, go ahead and subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel. You might not regret it, but you might regret it. I don't know. So here's the piece, XRP price, why it never goes up. And I can't remember, I didn't say this yet, did I? If I did, then I apologize for repeating myself. But I got this from @ReverseBackflip on Twitter. Thank you very much for sharing this with me. I enjoyed reading through this. And so he wrote and tagged me on Twitter. He writes, "Hey Matt, love your YouTube videos, man. Keep up the great work. Have you seen this, bud? There's some great info and some hope." And I had not seen this, so I thoroughly enjoyed reading through it this morning. Much appreciated, good sir. And so let me run through this. I'll say at the outset here, I mean, if you listen to me with any amount of regularity, you already know my stance and my love for critical thinking. So I'm a fan of diversity of thought. And so when I kind of go through this and I parse it out and just go point by point, it's not to rip this apart just for the sake of it. I don't want it to seem like that. Rather, like I said, I enjoy diversity of thought, so my intent is just to think through this critically, and I think it's okay to disagree, because that helps us get to the truth. So I'm going to share with you my thoughts on this, and if you think I'm wrong on anything, feel free to drop a comment below, because there are certainly a number of times as I've been learning about crypto for the less than 2 years that I've been in the space where I've had opinions, and then as I've learned more, of course, my opinions change as I'm exposed to do factual data and so on and so forth. So there's certainly no venom behind this if I'm saying too much negative about this, which is possible. There are some things that I agree with, but there's certain things that I was like, don't really share the opinion on that. But certainly nothing against the writer of this. It seems like a very pro XRP individual, of course, not surprisingly, giving just look at the domain, XRPRippleNews.com. So I appreciate people participating regardless, even if I disagree. So anyway, with that out of the way, let me go ahead and jump into this again. XRP price, why it never goes up. Let me say at the outset of this, XRP price does go up, so I personally would not have titled it this. Perhaps they mean in the short term, because the price relative to some other cryptos, okay, you could say it's been kind of flat in 2019, but even in the second quarter this year, you saw XRP, at the lowest I can recall, it was something like 29 cents, and then the second quarter it jumped up to over 50 cents, so I wouldn't say XRP price never changes. If you look at 2017, I believe that XRP, in terms of percentage gains, was the best performing cryptocurrency, period. Maybe there was one more that in terms of percentages performed better, but it was up by, what was it, like 30,000% just in the calendar year of 2017 during that major bull run of the crypto market. So I wouldn't say that that XRP price never changes. Consider at the beginning of 2017 it was at floating around like half a cent, and as I record this, we're at like 29 or 30 cents or something like that. So anyway, let me begin reading. Okay, we hear you. We have plenty of good news stories of our own, and yet Ripple XRP price never improves. Allow us to explain the reasons behind this. To understand why this is happening, we must first understand the nature of stock markets. And then there's a quote here from Sir John Templeton, stock market expert, and the quote is, "The four most expensive words in the English language are, 'This time it's different.' When the internet boom happened, it made many people rich. Then the bubble burst and many lost a lot of money. The base value of every online company, lowest price, was found and many disappeared completely. At that point, and with good regulation, the internet boomed and many people got rich." And then here's a subheading here, "Ripple the next Microsoft XRP price boom?" Many got filthy rich, in fact. Most of the wealthiest people on Earth made their wealth during these early internet booms. These were the days when Apple and Microsoft were just starting to gain momentum. Amazon was simply a guy who sat at a desk selling books. That same guy is now the head of one of the most powerful and wealthy companies on the planet and worth $130 billion. And there's a picture, so for those of you who are not driving or jogging in a park perhaps, feel free to take a look at the screen here. And this is like legit old school Amazon times. He's got a poster, or what do you want to call this? He's got the name of the company, Amazon.com, spray painted on something and then just like pinned it to the wall here. And I love these gigantic monitors from the mid-90s. Look at those things. Whew, massive. Anyway, so there's Jeff Bezos there. And in the subheading here, what's the connection? We have already had the first major cryptocurrency boom, and that bubble burst. This is why most prices have remained stagnant for so long in a bear market. I would dispute that from a factual perspective. We've had, I didn't bother to pull up the actual data, but it doesn't matter. There's been 4 or 5 major corrections in terms of percentage gains and losses. God, anywhere in the neighborhood of 80-90%, there's been at least 4, maybe 5 of those in the last decade. And why have there been so many in such a short period of time? Well, there's frenzy around this asset class, and people don't know exactly what everything's going to look like. But to me, it makes it very exciting to be a participant within this space as a result. Anyway, the piece continues. The good news is we have just about reached the base value for all the cryptocurrencies. Just the same as the internet, the S-word coins and the scam coins have been eliminated. Yeah, so the first time I read that, I thought, have they? Have they really been eliminated? I'm not really convinced of that, to be perfectly honest with you. If you pull up like livecoinwatch.com or coinmarketcap.com, are there thousands of coins listed there? The answer is yes. The answer is yes, they have not gone away. They've all gone down the same, well, roughly 80 to 90%, whatever it is, whatever the percentage is. Pretty much all the coins have lost pretty much all of their value. The biggest gainer this year, I'd presume, at this point anyway, it's still leading the market, would be Bitcoin. It is. And then you're still waiting for a potential altcoin rally in terms of market cycles. Historically, that has been what's happened after these big boom and bust cycles. If it doesn't happen this time, if there is not an alt season, that will be the first time in the 10-year history of crypto that there has not been. So we shall see. But for the time being, the history, the data that's out there does not indicate that all the scam coins and garbage coins that don't do anything are gone. They're still there. And when they are gone, it's not that they'll be out of existence necessarily. I'm sure there'll be some people that are just going to hold on because they put a bunch of their money into it and they're never going to want to let the last node go down, right? But what would happen is, in a space where coins are being quote-unquote eliminated, it would just mean delisting them from exchanges, which would dry up all the liquidity associated with those particular projects. And so that will happen at some point. I'm just not so sure we're there yet. And so why do I believe that we're not there yet? Why do I disagree with this point within this piece? Well, if you look at in terms of price action, you do still see, I know that Bitcoin's ahead, I get it, but you do still see, even in the short term, and I get it, again, Bitcoin's been way up, got it, okay. But there still has been, when it has been going up, there still has been noticeable action from altcoins at many points, even the calendar year 2019, where they have followed. And that's an indication that the asset class as a whole is just very immature, and people look at it. I'll say it this way. I like how David Schwartz worded it. I'm going to have to paraphrase it, but he said the market is not yet willing to parse out the differences between projects. They're betting on the asset class as a whole. And I don't think that's changed. I don't think people have figured stuff out. Now, I feel like I figured out something special in XRP. I think I figured out that it's going to be a cryptocurrency that really does have staying power and will be around for a very, very, very long time. Decades and decades and decades, if not longer. Now, that's presuming that the real-world adoption that we're experiencing with it is going to continue. It's the only cryptocurrency on the entire planet to be used in the commercial production of anything. But the market, even with that, even though there's only one out of the thousands of coins, and it is XRP, the market still is not willing to parse out anything. And most people don't even realize that, the way in which it's being used. People kind of conflate the idea of utilizing a cryptocurrency in the usage of something, which is what Ripple is doing, literally using the coin itself, which has market value. That's conflated with using blockchains. Just like people like to cite that V-chain, like the coin. The coin itself is not being used, and I'm still researching that, so I don't have firm opinions on the project as a whole. But I just conceptually, from everything that I've seen here, the coin itself is not being used. Now, it doesn't mean the blockchain won't be here for the long haul. I'm still trying to figure some of this stuff out and wrap my head around it, but the coin itself is not being used. And I think most of these projects out there with coins attached don't need coins attached. It's a money grab. They're ICOs, and they will go away. I think that those projects are probably not going to have a lot of staying power. So the only one that I have long-term confidence in would be XRP, because the digital asset itself is being used. And so, of course, if it's being used and businesses need it, there's going to be value associated with it, and there's going to be price associated with it as a result as well. And the piece continues here. Only altcoins with the real value, such as Ripple's XRP, will make history as Amazon has. Firmly agree with you, good sir. Well stated. That is probably the best sentence in this whole freaking piece. I love that. I share your bullish sentiment for sure. And then we got a quote from Brad Garlinghouse, Ripple CEO, in this piece. XRP is solving a payments problem, and it's very efficient to do that. Then we got another subheading. XRP price will one day surge. XRP, a coin which will not only save banks and companies billions over time, it is already doing that job and doing it very, very well. So the point being that XRP has real value, Ripple's XRP price will 100% reach levels in the hundreds of dollars in the coming years. I certainly think that's possible. I like to stay away from hype type statements. I'm willing to talk about what's possible, and I'm not claiming that he's being hype here. Just to be clear, I'm not stating that. But that's why I don't get into like price predictions for myself. I'm willing to talk about other people's price predictions, but I don't do that because I don't want to get people all jazzed up and then buy or sell based on emotion. That's kind of bad in my book. But in terms of what's possible, if we end up having genuine global adoption of this asset class, and if XRP is indeed a winner, if I'm right about that, and I think I am, not financial advice, but if I am right, then I don't see why the handful of winners that are cryptocurrencies wouldn't have individual market caps in the trillions, multi-trillions. I don't see why that wouldn't have if you're talking about true global reach, if that does come to fruition. All right, and then the piece continues, like all of us, you just have to wait. Smart people know aliens exist. It is simple mathematics. We just can't prove it physically yet. Same for XRP. So I don't know why I brought the aliens into it, but I was just kind of smiling when I read that. I was like, all right, alien guy. And then the piece continues here. So we now have the base values. We know what each cryptocurrency is worth. The trouble is XRP price should actually be a lot higher considering its partnerships, etc. Well, I'm not so sure that it should be at this point because there's clear... Oh, okay, well, I should clarify what I mean by that. It's clear that the market is not parsing out individual differences between coins to any meaningful level. Yes, there is a reason that XRP is third in market cap. It's because there are some people like me, probably just like you if you're listening to this channel, that are recognizing, hey, this one's actually different. Hey, this one's actually getting used, and as a result, we're putting our money into it, and we're willing to hold for a long time. So it is, to some degree, for people like you, being parsed out in that way, but we're in the minority, actually. Most people still aren't doing that. So when you say it, quote, should be, I don't know for sure if it technically should yet. Are enough people in the space? Are there enough institutions buying in? No, I don't think there are. I get the concept of people say, but there's good news and there really is. Like, I have good news every single day on this freaking channel, and it just, that's what's coming. Like, there's nothing but good news, it seems. There's very rarely bad news on the XRP front. And so I can get why people could conceptually say it should be a lot higher right now. And I get what you mean when you say that, so I don't disagree with the concept. It's just, I'd word it a little bit differently. That's all I'm trying to get at here. Then he writes, what is keeping XRP price so low? Once base values have been reached, the financial industry waits for regulations and safeguards. No billionaire wants to be robbed on an exchange, same as you or me. And then he's got a little infographic of best performing cryptocurrencies of 2017. So yeah, there's the number. I forgot this was in the piece. It was this morning when I read this, so I didn't have it completely fresh in my head. But and this is my second time reading through this. I just knew there was a lot that I had to say about it. Okay, so anyway, the infographic, you can see number one, Ripple XRP. It should just say XRP, but the infographic says that. Data from CoinMarketCap, and it shows percentage increase in the calendar year 2017 of 36,000%. And then at the bottom, number 14 was Bitcoin with 1,318%, which is still like obscene. Like that's awesome. That's so incredible. All right, and then the piece continues here. With market clarity and regulation, everyone from me to you to financial advisors worldwide, they suddenly pour into the cryptocurrency market, and the price of XRP will rocket. That part I do agree with. That's part of my concept here, is that if cryptocurrencies as an asset class do indeed have staying power, it's just a matter of time before they have much more of a global presence. And of course, once you have institutions pouring money in, it could be things like endowment funds, public pension funds, hedge funds, commercial banks, entities like that. When they start putting money in, responsibly managing assets on behalf of their members, that's largely what's going to throw the value of this asset class into the $1 trillion range, multi-trillion-dollar range, really. And so we're still waiting for that. With new exchanges popping up on Wall Street, Gibraltar, and all over the world, shops, retailers accepting cryptocurrencies, banks issuing their own altcoins. Yeah, and you just wait until you can trade cryptocurrencies on platforms where you traditionally just trade stocks. You know what that's going to do? And suddenly, there's this whole new world of options, and it's a new asset class? What do you think's going to happen? Yeah, explosion time, really. But this is happening, and it's happening fast. If normal, everyday people made XRP price hit $3.70 and Bitcoin hit $20,000, imagine what level XRP price will hit once these regulations take effect. $20+ a coin, easy. I share the sentiment. And again, while I don't make price predictions, I'm not going to put a timestamp on it. Is it possible to hit $20 a coin? Yeah, I think bigger than that, if it truly is a global presence, like I stated here. And it is. So, like with this, I totally agree with this part of what the author of this piece wrote. Big picture, I absolutely share the sentiment. I think it's genuinely possible here, because it is crazy. Think about it. With no real utility, because XRapid, the production version of XRapid, didn't exist when this last bull run happened at the end of 2017 and beginning of 2018. XRP hit, actually was, according to Live Coin Watch, $3.92 January of 2018, without it being used. That was purely speculative, with a minimal fraction of humans on this planet putting their money in. Where do you think this is going? That's just a rhetorical question, we'll say. I'm going to say up. So, okay, I guess that makes it not rhetorical. I don't know. Over-the-counter XRP price. You may be familiar with over-the-counter sales. You may also, like many, think it's BS, but I promise you it is not. In the financial world, when billionaires and millionaires wish to invest their funds into anything, they will always find the best price, and that is directly from the source. Buying in bulk makes them big savings, the same as any commodity. And then right, XRP price suppression, other effects on Ripple XRP price. Another reason many people don't know, Ripple release 1 billion XRP from escrow every month. This serves two functions. One, it allows Ripple to invest in new projects. Two, it helps maintain a stable market ecosystem, less volatility. But this inflow of 1 billion new coins makes XRP price drop slightly, leveling it out, thus swallowing my $200 per month monthly investment, as well as everyone else's. Partly why XRP price never goes up. I disagree with that pretty strongly at this point. I've looked into it enough. Trade volume based on Ripple's sales of XRP, it accounts for generally about 0.32% of all volume. It's almost nothing. It just sounds like a big number that they're selling. The sale of XRP for me or you or Ripple or anybody technically affects price, got it, but it's such a small percentage of that. And also consider, as I've said in the past, that while Ripple was selling their XRP during the bull run of 2017 into January 2018, that whole time that mega bull run was happening, the price went from, over a calendar year, half a penny to $3.92. How's that Ripple XRP price suppression going, huh? There is none. Okay, if they were able to suppress price based on that volume, that would happen. The truth of the matter is there isn't enough demand for it right now. That's all it is. Doesn't mean there won't be in the future, but there simply isn't enough demand for it. And so you could say, okay, well, it's during a bull run. Well, okay, what about what I cited earlier in the video? What about how the price jumped up in the second quarter of this year from, I remember it being about 29 cents and going to over 50 cents. That was not during a bull run. How's that Ripple price suppression of XRP? How's that working out? It's not. Like, there's plenty of evidence that it's just not rational to believe that Ripple is suppressing the price of XRP in any meaningful way. So I just think it's completely silly. I mean, plus you'd have to believe if they are selling their XRP, and then you believe that it's suppressing the price, you'd have to believe that, I mean, how much of that XRP that they're selling do you think ends up on open exchanges? Because that's what it would take to affect the price. These coins are sold OTC, which doesn't have an immediate direct, it only has an indirect price effect. And so if you're talking about entities holding this, then they'd have to be putting pretty much all of it on exchanges, selling to consumers like you and me for that price to be affected. And there's not evidence that in mass that's even what's happening. A lot of it is institutional buyers. They're holding it too, and some use it for business. And so there's all sorts of different reasons that this is all occurring. It's not just getting dumped onto the open market. That's not what's happening. So not only is it 0.32%, it's also not all of that. That's the volume, but not in addition to that point, not all of the XRP sold by Ripple is hitting the open market. So to me, it's just conceptually a silly point of view, but that's how I feel. It's okay if you disagree with me. That's okay. We can still be friends. I still respect you, but I do disagree on that point. All right, moving on. So XRP price will never go up? ? Exclamation point. It won't stay this way. Massive positive volume will send XRP price rocketing. Millions of people all over the world buying into Ripple's XRP dream. This will happen when the next bull run starts, and it is imminent. This next wave of major investment will drive XRP price through the roof. We need market clarity and regulation so institutional investors feel safe. We need mass adoption to really take off. These things are happening, but these things take time. We are talking about the biggest social and economic upheaval since the Stone Ages. So, and then they go on. So we predict a $5, $10 XRP by Christmas and up to $30 to $40 by the end of next year. Fingers firmly. Eventually, XRP will unite all fiat currency to be the single currency of the new world. Quadrillion market cap. Quadrillion market cap. Okay, I'll just leave that last part alone. I still enjoy reading through the piece, so again, thank you very much, Reverse Backflip, for sharing that with me. I really did like reading through it, and it's fun to think through these things, I think. All right, next piece here. I got this from Stewart_XRP, who tweeted out, and this is a quote, "But that's Ripple's plan in summary, or even shorter, build a massive level playing field in which assets can compete to bridge payments, and try to make XRP a winner on that playing field." So let me read through these points real quick. And this is from April 27th, 2017, written by David Schwartz, co-creator of XRP. The abridged model, this is basically the go-to-market strategy in part is what he's talking about here. So, Ripple gets banks to use its payment technology. 2, banks integrate Ripple's payment system into their system. 3, this helps to eliminate all the technical obstacles to banks routing payments through a cryptocurrency. Regulatory compliance, business rules, integration, effort, etc. 4, banks use the system to clear payments with each other, probably using mostly ILP. ILP is a protocol that permits atomic cross-ledger payments. Most importantly, it allows a connector to facilitate the payment, even if that connector is not trusted by either the sender, the recipient, or the source and destination financial institutions. 5, Ripple tries to make XRP the premium connector by targeting inefficient corridors. 6, by the way, they're doing that right now, are they not? They're starting with what they call the low-hanging fruit. U.S. Into Mexico, U.S. into Philippines. That's what they're really targeting right now. There are actual XRapid partners today making that happen. Anyway, 6, if XRP can efficiently bridge X% of payments between banks that use Ripple, it will. 7, this will increase the demand for XRP as connectors need XRP to buy the destination currency for their trades. 8, if XRP is cheap to trade with other currencies, people who don't know what currency they'll need next may hold XRP. 9, if XRP is cheap to trade with other currencies, people who are willing to buy any currency they can get cheaply may hold XRP. This can lead to a cycle of increasing demand. That was point 10. This can lead to a cycle of increasing demand. Then he writes, Ripple may or may not succeed. Ripple's strategy may change. But that's Ripple's plan in summary. Or, even shorter, build a massive level playing field in which assets can compete to bridge payments, then try to make XRP a winner on that playing field. And by the way, guys, that's exactly the concept behind launching ILP as a part of this, because it connects ledgers of all times, not just blockchain ledgers, not just blockchains. but traditional ledgers as well. And then he writes, this is an ambitious, maybe even crazy plan, but Ripple has raised tens of millions of dollars, has over 100 full-time employees, and our success to date speaks for itself. That is, of course, no guarantee of success. Well written. And the last I heard in terms of employee size, so again, April 2017, over 100. They now have over 300. That's the last number I heard. Maybe it's even more than that at this point, but that's where we were. So thought I'd share it with you. Okay, last piece, and then I better wrap up the video before it goes too long. This is from Coindesk.com. And this piece is titled, Crypto Entrepreneur Jeremy Gardner Pitches Reality Show to TV Networks. Will a Bitcoin millionaire become the next reality TV star? Serial entrepreneur Jeremy Gardner, the 27-year-old co-founder of Augur and the Blockchain Education Network, is taking on Hollywood with a self-funded YouTube series called The Crypto Castle Chronicles. I don't know about that name. Anyway, produced by Adrian Bash, formerly of Vice and now a contributing producer on the CNBC Africa Crypto Trader show hosted by Rand Neuner, Crypto Castle Chronicles is being shopped around to television networks, Gardner said. It offers real insight into entrepreneurship, startups, and fundraising from a perspective that isn't like Shark Tank, he told CoinDesk. We're speaking to executive producers at some of the networks. Gardner is perhaps best known as the main tenant of the Crypto Castles, an apartment in San Francisco and a mansion in Miami where blockchain industry heavyweights often sublet and party. The New York Times referred to Gardner as the king of these testosterone-soaked dwellings in a 2018 article about early Bitcoin adopters getting hilariously rich. A follow-up feature by Breaker displayed a pantry full of liquor and Star Wars toys in San Francisco, plus bikini-clad models at the Miami Pad. I think that speaks for itself, gentlemen and ladies. I'm just going to end the video on that note. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate all the support. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!